Hodul Hashem ki tov ki li'olam chasdo. This is all in God's hands. As I get older and older, we realize how much more is in God's hands. And Pete Hegseth and I got together through a mutual friend, Henry Schwartz, who's a tremendous Zionist and tremendous supporter of Israel. And we were working on a project in America called EMP. It's called Impact America. EMP stands for electromagnetic pulse. And we were concerned that Iran and other bad actors in the world, mostly Iran, would use North Korea too, would use an electromagnetic pulse to destroy America. People don't realize how easy it is to put up a little nuclear explosion in the stratosphere and actually wipe out the electrical grid of America. And America still has not prepared. Israel has prepared for it, but not America. So for many years, we worked on that together. And, you know, we've been successful because all of us here, our Sheva and all of you, were instrumental in electing Donald Trump. And, you know, it takes one bold move, that's all it takes, and everything changes in a flash. And that's how God works too, but human beings had to do their hishtadlut, you know, they had to do their due diligence. And if they didn't do it, Donald Trump wouldn't have been elected. And it wasn't the Russians, for sure not. You know, the Democrats love to find a scapegoat, find out why they lost, so they go after things that are delusional. Eventually they'll figure it out, but they haven't figured it out yet. So Donald Trump got elected and the whole world changed. The whole world changed for the better. And still there are many Jews and many Israelis who haven't figured out that Donald Trump is the best thing that ever happened to the world. But those in the know realize this man has a heart of gold. Okay, you know, so he's not perfect. No human being is. He's a very successful person, like Sarah Huckabee, my good old friend, who we brought to this gathering many times. Now the press secretary of the United States of America. Sarah Huckabee will tell you that he's a winner. And America loves winners, but America needs winners, more importantly. So the idea of Pete Hegseth and, of course, Jennifer Rauchet coming to Israel, you may think, well, you know, Fox News, they come all the time. Senators come all the time. You know, you think that that's so unusual, but it is unusual. I'll tell you why it's unusual. Because you don't have friends like Pete Hegseth. That's why. Because people don't take their vacations. Like I was talking to Pete and Jennifer, I said, people normally, I had a number of congressmen who could have come with us. You know, they decided to go to the Caribbean. So the idea is, this man put his heart into this and soul into the land of Israel. He could have gone on vacation, like everybody else in America. President's Week, this is President's Day. We designed this dinner, by the way. I'm surprised that no one has said it yet. We designed this dinner because we were honoring President Trump on President's Day. This is President's Day in America. It's celebrated. So President Trump, we celebrate you as a true president of the United States of America and of the world. And when Pete and I came here together in 2016, it was a lot different in the world, and nobody even gave Donald Trump a chance. I remember handing out watches with Donald Trump's image on them, and we were doing press conferences. Nobody paid much mind to us, and they didn't think that Donald Trump was going to win, and he did, because he's a winner, and he knew what it took, and he had a great team. Fox was definitely responsible, but I must say that there were a lot of other news outlets that were responsible. But talking about news outlets, it's very important, and why I believe, and why Pete's here for sure, and Jennifer too, is that the media has a tremendous responsibility, which they have not owned up to as of yet. Fox News for sure has begun the process of owning up to being truthful, bringing reality to the surface, and helping Israel. Other news outlets could care less and actually are harmful to Israel. So the idea is to bring as many friends as we can. And Pete's young, he's a Princeton grad, he's a Army vet, major in the Army. He was number 2 and he still may end up being the head of Veterans Affairs under Donald Trump as president in terms of Secretary of Veterans Affairs. But regardless, he's on Fox. He's there speaking to millions and millions of people every day. And sovereignty, which I know Nadja has been working on so long, is finally coming of age, I'm happy to say. And I know that Danny Danone wrote the annexation article in the New York Times many years ago. And it's finally coming of age, and people, you heard tonight from Pete Hegseth, the first time ever that someone called for the rebuilding of the temple on the Temple Mount, who happens not to be Jewish, and who happens to be on a very popular show, Fox and Friends, every morning, that the President of the United States listens to. I mean, this is so earth-shattering, I can't even begin to tell you how incredible it is. But this is what we have done day in and day out, whether it's Arad Sheva or whatever, for years and years and years, and we're going to continue to do. And the idea is that truth will win out, and we will have a temple on the Temple Mount, and we will have sovereignty in Judea and Samaria, and we will have annexation of Judea and Samaria, and we will finally have the Arabs realizing that they've lost, which, by the way, they haven't figured out yet. You know, the whole Mahmoud Abbas and Oslo process was a sham. We knew it from the beginning, but no one wanted to pay any mind to us. And the truth is, if you don't pay mind to these types of shams, you end up with a September 11th in America. No one paid attention to our warnings. They saw what was happening in Israel. You had 4 bus bombings in 1 week. That's in March of 1996. You don't even remember that. You know, hundreds of people were killed, young people, on buses, and Shimon Peres lost the election to Bibi Netanyahu in May of 1996. But you don't know that because people's memory isn't that long. But I remember it like it was yesterday. And the truth is that whatever happened in Israel is now happening in the rest of the world, and in America particularly. Bus rammings, bus bombings, whatever, you name it. Okay, maybe not bus bombings, thank God, but we've had our car rammings, we've had our shootings, we've had all kinds of things. And America is finally waking up to the realization that Israel went through this process and learned how to deal with it. So America is going to deal with it. But all of this comes at the understanding that the Arabs have lost the war and the battle, and they have to finally resign themselves to being defeated. Once they resign themselves to having been defeated, they will finally wake up one day and have a future. Otherwise, they will have zero future, and they will remain in the Middle Ages. If they want to remain in the Middle Ages, and I tell them, you know, just as a doctor would, if you want to remain in the Middle Ages, stop, you know, obviously realizing reality, okay? You want to stop realizing reality and your defeat, you know, fine. But if you finally realize that you've been defeated and that God is on the side of the Jewish people and on the side of America, you will finally wake up and realize that you can have some friends for a change, and you can do very well. My wife is telling me to finally call it quits, so. And I had a lot more to say. You can read me on Arad Sheva every week if you're really interested. Thank you, Yoni. Thank you, Uzi. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
Wow.